Hello everyone, I'm Veloce Racers and welcome back to finally another video. It has been probably like 10 years now, but it's about time that we get back into the swing of YouTube, I think, because, you know, we're fairly close, you know, to 1,000 subscribers. So I'm going to try and push for that by the end of this series, but with some much more consistent uploading during my time that I now have free. But anyway, moving on, ForzaRC is where we're at today. ForzaRC Saturday Ghost Races to be exact. And I'm, you know, about to race up against Box, who's the current reigning ForzaRC champion, and Commando, JSR Commando, who is probably a world heavyweight champion. I don't know why I think that, but something just seems quite likely there. But anyway, the deal for today is I'm going to go through the racing with you. I'm going to give you a commentary, what's going on in my head, what am I thinking, and what are my reference points and, you know, my way of thought to keep up at this kind of pace, and how I deal with the pressure of racing at such a high level. And we're just going to run through it, analyze the racing, see what goes down, and yeah, I really hope you guys enjoy, but it's time to get into it, so let's go. So here we are on the grid, Box just ahead in that pink Dodge Challenger ahead. The Trackers Road Atlanta, and what I'm going to need to focus on doing now is getting the best start I possibly can, which I have done. It's been a very good start with Commando just behind in third as well, and we've actually managed to get ahead of Box off the start into turn one, and, you know, just again trying to pick a braking point that works. But it's so sketchy, and I kind of braked a bit early. I had no reference of anyone else to follow, and so unfortunately I've gone from the lead down to third very slightly. It's not a very big gap at all. We really do have to throw the car around this first sector very, very much indeed in order to get the sort of lap times out of it. But it seems like the craziness of the beginning of the race has kind of calmed down a bit now, and unfortunately it looks as if the other two have got a great exit out of that left-hander as well, and it's not looking all that promising off the start for us so far. We've got a brilliant start off the line, but it's kind of calmed down a bit now using the grass into turn 7 as well. It's such a tricky track this, as I feel like I can finally calm down a bit with my commentary. But, you know, looking at the gaps now, so we've got about 100 foot to Box up in the lead. It's not been the ideal first lap, but we've got Matt behind in 4th. Bearing in mind, you need to be P4 or above to get into the next round of the ForzaRC to progress out of 12, so we're still safe easily. But we're really going to try and just look at, you know, gaining on the guys ahead. That's really quite a hefty chunk of grass used there. But another thing to note is that at this stage of competition, we're running Forza clean, so that means that the white lines don't actually mark the edge of the track yet. It will do when we get into the broadcast and stuff, but you're much more free to just corner cut away at this stage of the competition. But regardless though, my focus is now purely on Commando and Box ahead, because clearly Matt just isn't catching behind, which is pretty good, so we don't have any pressure there. But we really do have to try and, you know, get some laps down, try and catch up to the cars ahead, because I want to be finishing second at an absolute minimum here, because, you know, I out-qualified Commando coming into this because there's a rivals event that decided your grid position for this and also gave you points, and I was 14th, I think. Commando was just a bit below, Box was a bit above, he was quite high actually, I think he was in the top 3. But, you know, I'm not satisfied unless I really do get the most out of this car as I possibly can. But we've really gained now on Commando, so this is looking pretty good. Just thinking about the gearing as well, that's another thing that was really tricky in this car. It's so floaty. It was pretty horrible in many ways to get the car to do what you want, and racing with no assist whatsoever, no racing line, so you have to pick out this meter board just here on the right, brake down into third, because the torque is really high up in this as well, so, well, it's really low down, so you don't have to be that high up in the rev range at all, and you shift really early as well, so it's really quite a weird car. But we are now right on the back of Commando, so it's looking pretty good. You know, we seem to have recovered. Us up ahead, Box. You know, that's a mistake that you wouldn't usually expect to see. But on the brakes into turn 1, it's just like this this race is just one big quick fire session. Every corner is just coming up again and again and again. It's really tough to keep your head all throughout this race and try and focus on, you know, not making any mistakes and also gaining on the two mega drivers ahead, which is looking pretty good so far. I'm right on the back of Commando. Box has closed up quite a bit as well on the grass there for the entrance, which is legal, believe it or not, as Commando uses quite a lot of track on the exit, which is fair enough. It's not usually, you know, often it's not actually faster to be out that wide on the exit of that corner, but coming into this very tricky section now, leading onto the back straight, we've got to use the grass again on entry, really swing it in, try and tap the curb, which we've done nicely, and floor it on exit as Commando's gone too wide, and this means that we're going to have quite the opportunity to try and gain on him now. It's going to be very interesting to see how this gap you know, is managed throughout the rest of this race. Box still about 90 feet ahead, so we've done a good job of catching back up to these two, but we haven't quite done enough to get Box, which is ideally where I'd like to be. But on the brakes again, turning in, very nicely cut there. You can see that it stayed Forza clean, hitting that curb on the inside. That's a pretty good exit from that chicane as well, with Commando being dispatched now into third very slightly, but Box is still up ahead. Box is still the target as we cross onto lap 4 now. 39.4 is really quick. If that was on the Rivals event, that would be, you know, I think top 30 at least in the world. You know, so the pace we're running right now is properly good. As again, our focus is on Box, turning in, getting on the grass to exit, getting really close to the inside wall. And that one as well, you know, there's no margin for error. Well, all the time this weight of this car is just being flung left, right, forwards and backwards as we try and get, you know, we try and exploit the car and the track to its absolute limit. As we take that corner pretty nicely there, Box and Commando both went pretty wide, but Commando seems to have lost a little bit of time. Catching up to Box now though, on the brakes again, through the right, into, I think this is turn 7. Yeah, I haven't counted it, I'll be honest. But on the throttle again, it's honestly, the pace right now is looking really strong. The race pace we've got is exceptional. And as you can see by the gap to Box, we've actually closed it by a whopping 10 feet over the lap, I think, roughly. If you were to compare to the gap to how it was this time last lap, you know, it's about 10 feet or so ahead. But it's pretty, you know, it's so close, it's insane. And into this chicane again, trying to cut it nicely, getting up on the curb nicely as well. And Box seems to have made another mistake, which could be crucial. You know, he's making a few mistakes in this sector, but he does seem to have a lot of pace elsewhere on the lap. As we get a very sketchy moment there going across the line. It's so easy to lose the car there. And into turn 1 again, up onto the curb pretty well. You know, we do a decent job of using all the track as well. Commando is so close behind. I didn't dare look back because I just knew that if I did, I'd be scarred for life. And you know, I just couldn't face myself to focus on the car behind. You have to focus on the car in front, which is exactly what I'm trying to do here. Up onto the grass again for this left. It's so tough keeping this pace up, it's insane. And we've seemed to have used, you know, again, a lot of the track, but it's looking pretty good. And meanwhile, notice the gap to 4th place. We're already 1,000 foot away from 4th. We really have broken free even as the top 3. So now really try and exploit the grass again on entry. I've done a good job there. I've saved about 2 tenths because I was 2 tenths down at the end of sector 1. But Box is now seriously in our sights. We're up to P2. We've closed another 10 feet. If you look at the distance, we're about 70 feet away. You know, when we reached that initial bridge, I think it was at the on this straight. About 90 feet now. We're half a tenth down on our best. Let's see if we can do the chicane well. Yeah, pretty nicely got the cut. Box seems to have gotten a slow entry, and we've closed really close now onto the back of the reigning world champion. Really close, up to 4th. Yeah, on the throttle, and we're about 30 foot behind Box. I'm doing consistent 39.3s at the moment, which is just nuts. On the brakes again, down to 3rd gear, let's just see if we can get the rest of this track nailed down, because I don't know, at this rate I'm going to be about 30 feet behind him coming up to the coming across the line, which is pretty insane because this guy ahead is not slow by any means. You know, he's rapid and it's very tough cutting there. This is amazing. It's quite amazing to watch this back by how much track is taken. An awesome line through there as well. A bit too much track used on the exit for it to stay completely valid, but unfortunately Vox has managed to get a bit of a better exit anyway because of that. Up onto this inside curve, let's see if we can tap it. Patient on the throttle as well. Up onto the grass as always, trying to turn in and tap that curve. Commando is in us as well, it's so close. And onto the back straight, you can see we're 40 foot behind, which compared to the 80 feet that it's been up to this point is a lot closer, but Commando is even closer to me than I am to Vox, which is just insane. So if I was to muck up this final chicane, it could all be over. This is the point where my heart was really beating, you know, because you have to be so careful not to mess up at this stage. All the work could be undone right here, right now, but unfortunately I have managed to do it pretty well. I mean, being very generous with the track. Vox just ahead. It looks like as we come up to the line, we're going to be just behind Vox. Unbelievable, so close, 30 foot behind. Consistent 39 threes and fours, mega pace, insane race, and really enjoyable to take part in actually, and so quick, it's unbelievable. As you can see by the times, we were running a lot faster than the people further down in this lobby, but we're safely through to the next round, and that concludes my little coverage of this race. This was the most exciting race I took part in today. I hope you enjoyed just watching it and hearing my rather, you know, spontaneous commentary. But again, thank you very much for watching, and if you enjoyed this, let me know. If not, again, let me know. Just drop it down in the comments section below, because I just need to find some inspiration, find my place on YouTube. It's as simple as that, really. Just got to find what people respect most in terms of the footage that I release. But again, thank you very much, guys, and I will see you next time for hopefully another video of a similar race just like that. Thank you and goodbye.